I just now ducked around to the milk bar with my bed hair. I don't care. To get some milk. And that seemed fitting. But as I went in there, I went and grabbed the milk. It's just around the corner, opposite Tara's Hotel, Cal's Hotel. And I grabbed the milk and I glanced at the papers, which was the Herald Sun and the Age. I didn't think anything of it. And the lady behind the counter said, would you like a paper as well? A bit Little Richard going there. Anyway, and she said, and I said, no, thanks. And then I did a double take. And now this is a little bit interesting, I think, for me. You know, there's stuff that's interesting to other people. Yeah, is not interesting to me. And stuff that's interesting to me is not interesting to other people. I know that. But I glanced, I did a double take. I went, and I had a disconnect. Oh yeah. Now here's what happened, because I was expecting. I said, oh yeah, because she made a comment, the lady behind the counter. She said, I said, no, it's just it's football and elections, and I kind of know all about that. You know, because the AFLW grand final was on, Melbourne won and all that sort of thing. So that's on the front page, and so was Dan Andrews. And I said, no, I get the gist. Yeah, but I said, no, it's football and politics. And she said, yes, the papers are full of politics today. I went, no, I actually did a little double take, and I said, oh. And I said, don't worry about it. No, okay, yeah, no, I don't want the paper. Now, what was happening there, the reason I got a little bit confused there just for an instant, was because I was wondering, why is, now this is weird, but it's real, you know? I said, why are we getting Victorian news? Oh yeah, because I'm in Victoria. Because here's the thing, half an hour ago I was in Queensland, and this is a question of whether you, how much you indulge your dreams, you know, because I like to, you know, if I have a dream, I really sit there and go, and really think about it, you know. I'm gonna really get into that. Is the way I do things, you know. And I thought, that's weird. I carried that all the way to the milk bar. That kind of part, you know, like in your brain, part of my brain was still in Queensland because I was thinking, because my dream was in Queensland earlier, and I carried it all the way into the real world. You know, this is like a reverse lucid dream. What is this? This is a lucid awakening in a way, isn't it? And a lucid being awake. I took it down there, and I was still, a little part of my brain was still in Queensland, but I didn't know, you know, I knew I was in Echuca. But isn't that funny? Now, here's a tip that no one will want. I've been immersing in Tristan and Isolde, and it's on topic for this. That's the Richard Wagner opera, Richard Wagner. Now in that, this is along the same lines, because, you know, what's the most real and interesting thing that's going to happen to me today? Well, it's what happened in my dream earlier. Nothing's going to get better than that. That's huge, what happened this morning. The rest of today is going to be fairly humdrum, really. I'm just going to hop inside, you know, wash the dishes and do some coding, you know. Yeah. Oh, what was your day like today, Damien? What did you do? What did you get up to? Oh, I left the handbrake off my cousin's car, and it rolled down a hill and ended up on its roof. Far out! You know, that would be the reaction if I told that story, and that did happen earlier today. But a lot of people will confine themselves to what physically happened today. Yeah, I washed some dishes and I did some coding. Geez. You know, your spring days must really fly by, Damien. Why would you, and everyone does, but why would you talk about what's physically happening when, in this physical world, why would you talk about that when what's happening in your inner world is huge, sometimes huge? You know, that's all very real. You know, if you dream about someone, that's actually the biggest compliment you can pay that person, because you're thinking about them in your subconscious. That's huge. You know, Tristan and Isolde, the opera, well, the music drama, Richard Wagner said, these are not operas, these are total works of art. You don't call my things opera. You know, call what Verdi's doing down there in Italy an opera. Don't call what I'm doing an opera. What I'm doing here is bigger. And it was too. Gaining more and more an appreciation of that. All right, Tristan and Isolde. A little bit like that song Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush, you know, in which Kate Bush says, you know, you and I, she's talking to her lover, can we make a deal with God? You know, a little bit like selling your soul to the devil. Let's make a deal with God, so that we can really get into each other's souls, to really know each other. All right, Tristan and Isolde is a little bit like that, but Tristan and Isolde, they get deeper and deeper into their inner worlds, the two of them. They fall in love via mechanisms that I could get into. A love potions involved even. Don't worry about all that, you know. A bit of pharmaceuticals are involved. But anyway, Tristan and Isolde, one way or another, end up, you know, like, that's more than deeply in love. Their souls start communicating with each other, far beyond just two people sitting in their lounge rooms watching the TV together. Would you get me a cup of tea, love? Not that. You know, they actually get lost, and the music and everything swirls around, and they're actually operating in their inner worlds by now. On one level, they've gone mad because they're no longer functioning properly in the real world, but they are functioning very properly in the other world. You know, what looks like madness in this physical world might be total sanity in your inner world, and interestingly, vice versa. All right, so it was a little bit insane of me to be down at the Milk Bar before, wondering why the Herald Sun and the Age was sitting on the counter. Yeah, the Age up on the counter and Herald Sun down on a little shelf there. How come the Courier Mail's not there? That is a tiny little window into a little bit of insanity, in as much as I've lost touch with where I am in the real world. I am not, at that moment in time, I was functioning imperfectly in the Echuca sense, you know, because I thought I was in Queensland. And anyone who was entirely rational would have absolutely gone click, click, click. I am in Echuca, hop in my car, go around the corner, I'm still in Echuca. Go into the Milk Bar, what do you expect to find? Victorian newspapers, not Queensland newspapers. That's sanity. All right, Tristan and Isolde, though, in this music drama, it's not an opera, they get very lost. No, they don't get very lost, they get very found in their inner worlds. Very lost to this world. Anyway, there comes a point when they're both about to die, and they're just, they're I don't know, their inner worlds, you know, that's all that matters to them. I love you, Isolde, I love you, Tristan, and all that sort of thing. But it's their souls communicating, you know. And Tristan actually dies at that point because he has become so detached from the real world anyway, he may as well. Now, he only dies in this real world. He's in an ecstasy, as it turns out. This is an extremely happy part of the music drama, the opera. As Tristan dies, both Tristan and Isolde are ecstatically, at this point, wanting to die in this world so that they can get started on their eternal existence. Insane. And yet maybe very, very sane. He drops dead. As he's dying, there are other people in the rooms. King Mark has come into the room. He's talking, but they can't even hear him. They can hear him, but they can't hear him. It's as if he's speaking to them through a haze. He's in some dreamlike place. You know, they're inside a reality here, and there's a maid in the room too, and they're talking, but it's not getting through because their two souls are in this other inner world together, and like that Kate Bush song, they're very much ecstatically looking forward to the moment when they both expire in this world, get that over and done with, so that they can join together in their other world, their inner world, their afterlife. It's very beautiful in a way. I listened to the entire music drama opera yesterday. That took about 3.5 hours or something whilst I was coding. My God, you know, it's even listening to the thing, I found myself in that other world, because coding's a little bit like that too. If someone talks to you while you're coding, you don't hear it, and you know, and it frustrates Nicole a bit. You know, she, Damien, did you put the bins out or whatever? You know, tap 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 tap. Huh? See, I'm inside the code. You know, I'm in my inner world there. You know, coding's a bit like that. But yesterday, coding and listening to Tristan and Isolde, it's not like a Verdi opera where you've got this song, then that song, and then a little bit of talking, and a little bit of this, and a few dramatic things, you know, and then a few attention-grabbing moments and all that sort of stuff. That's Italian. But with the Germans, you know, especially with Richard Wagner, from the start to the finish is just what you might almost call one piece, one song, if you like. You know, it's not a song, but it's a continuously evolving melody and harmony and everything else. And it's just one big piece, the likes of which Verdi would never write, and perhaps no Italian could. Put it this way, it was mentioned to me as I was listening to some chat about Tristan and Isolde, because I like to learn about the thing before I start listening, because you get more out of it. There are dissonances introduced at the start, in the first few seconds, you know, and there's a chromatic scale at the start, which kind of signifies death. You know, the very first few notes. You know, it's actually the very first few notes is actually I drink to you, I drink to you, but it means I drink to our love, I drink to our death. In the very first few notes, the whole opera is right there. Anyway, it's a rising sixth, they call it. Now, I'm going too far here, but you know, if you're still here, enjoy or don't. But it's a sixth, you know. That's lifting the cup. That's drinking the cup, but it's also code for death, a descending chromatic scale. You know, so you drink a love potion, you drink a death potion all at once. You know, and just in those 1, 2, 3, 4 notes, you've got the whole theme of the entire music drama. But then there's some dissonances introduced at the start, and they don't get resolved until the end of the music drama. An Italian, I am told, would never do that. Wouldn't even occur to them. They like to live in the real world, not in the inner world. You know, all Verdi's operas are, you know, real life dramas. Someone like Richard Wagner, but others too, Richard Strauss and all these people, inner world dramas. Either in the mind, the universe that's in your mind, or perhaps out with the gods. You know, like in that other universe, up with the gods in the Ring cycle, which inspired Lord of the Rings, and the Flying Dutchman, which seems to have inspired Pirates of the Caribbean and all that sort of stuff. You know. Okay, so there's some dissonances introduced at the start of Tristan and Isolde, which don't get resolved until 3.5 hours later. Now that's German. You know, concentrate, son, concentrate. Okay, because in a rock and roll song or a rap song or whatever, if you introduce a dissonance, it has to be resolved within seconds. A rap song, it just gets resolved on, I don't think it even gets introduced. You know, it's just rock and roll, rap, all these sorts of things, pop music and all that sort of thing. Progressive pop, my cousin Michael listens to. All right, that's right up there with what happens here. Because Michael, my cousin, he sent me a piece, Amarok, by what's his name? Can't even remember. No, I'm not in the real world. I've gone insane. That's an hour. That's a Wagnerian. You know, that's a single song, if you like, that goes for an hour. And most people would say to Michael, my cousin, I'm sure, I'm not listening to a song that goes for an hour. You know, but you know, Michael, I know, gets into all sorts of music. From and classical's just one of many things he gets into, and he'd probably say, well, you know, okay, good for you, but I like it. So there you go. And Richard Wagner does the same thing. Look, that Amarok album, one song goes for an hour. Richard Wagner, one song essentially. You shouldn't even call them songs, pieces. What's your favourite song? Well, my favourite piece is Amarok, you know. Or my favourite piece is Tristan and Isolde, one long song. And Verdi, he wasn't going to go writing that. He didn't even want it because he's Italian. He wouldn't want to write something like that. You know, he doesn't want to be writing operas about communing with the gods, Greek style. Verdi, I don't think he did. I think they were all real life dramas, what he did. But the Germans, they'll either take you for a journey inside your head, or they'll take you up into Valhalla, so that you can hang with the gods. That's very German.